What is good, everybody? My Paper Moon fam. It's your boy, PaperSin, back with another reaction video. This one is called Dear Black Women. Enough is enough. And it's by the YouTube channel Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Let's get to it. Okay. Let me make sure I do that. Okay.
All right, guys, listen up. We about to get active. Now, listen, before I get into this particular discussion today, do understand why I am choosing to do a video like this one, because I know it's going to be a degree of controversy. I know it's going to cause some ish in the streets, but it is what it is. Over the past several days, we've seen direct examples of black women demonstrating themselves being completely and utterly out of control, whether it be from the more feminist side, which separates man from woman, black man from black woman, to the much more pop culture rap, doing nasty and disgusting things for goddamn clicks and views. What I wanted to go through today is just a recap of these different things and show them in a light that I think continues to create the burning platform, why it's so important to do content like this, to paint a picture of the state of the union today as we try to go forth and diagnose the problems so we can come up with concrete solutions going into the future. Because if we don't create the burning platform for why it matters, then it will continue. And it has been continuing for decades now, but no one has taken a stand to get up and to talk about these things the way that they need to be talked about. So without further ado, the first thing that I wanted to talk about here today is this loser by the name of Sukiana the Goat. She writes here, I was trying to be classy, but business class is good enough. Cause Suki International now. Let's pay attention real quickly.
I'm trying to get my coochie stretched. I'm trying to get my coochie stretched and eat ass. We be eating ass today in London.
Oh, hell nah.
I'm trying to get this coochie stretched.
The loser walks in front of the people that are minding their own business. Mind you, this is in front of Buckingham Palace in the UK, and starts talking about the Pound Town Cake song. I want to get my coochie scratched, get my coochie stretched. I don't know if it's stretched or scratched, one of them. And then she goes on to say something about eating a ninja's sphincter from the back, is essentially what she says. But she's just being loud, disgusting, and obnoxious. The first thing I want to say before I continue on my diatribe right here is that for black women that walk within an air of grace, that walk in an air of sophistication, that walk in an air of femininity, I appreciate you.
Same.
But I do not appreciate how you guys sit back and allow this fuck shit to continue to occur.
Nah, bro. The only reason, in my opinion, the main reason they do that is less competition for them. They know what the high value men want. They know that the high value men want women that are in their divine feminine. They know that the high value men do not want the women who are in their masculine. They know that the high value men don't want women who are doing ratchet shit. They know that the high value men want women who are going to make sure they carry themselves in a way where if anybody sees them, they will know that the man that they're with is respectable. Because when you're in a relationship with someone, you represent that person and that person represents you. So if your woman is going around doing some shit like this chick, or not even saying the words that she's saying, but acting the way she's acting, people are going to look back at you and be like, that's your person? That's your girl? That's your woman? That's your partner? It seems like you might make some bad decisions. let me make sure I distance myself from you. And vice versa on the woman's side. If her man goes out and loses thousands of dollars from gambling or millions of dollars from gambling or just making bad deals in general and getting played like a fool, everybody else is going to look at her like, that's your man? That's your partner? That's who you chose to be with? Seems like you make some bad decisions. But on the women's side, they're just looking like, we're going to hang out with you, but we're going to talk bad about you behind your back. And we're going to tell you that you look good in a dress when you obviously don't look good in that dress because you're we're not worried about you as being competition for the higher value men. Anyway.
Unabated. Also, before I continue to go in, what I've always said within my platform is that I have this platform focusing on from a male content perspective after decades of not having male-focused content whatsoever. So we've allowed this destructive and irrational and outlandish behavior to continue to propagate itself, and more so propagate itself to the eyes of young people today, which affects both the women and the young men, to the extent of the young men walking around with this destructive, outlandish behavior, but it has gone without critique. Here's one of my examples why. This is actually posted to very popular internet website, The Shade Room. And The Shade Room writes, okay, International Suki, hashtag Sukiana is living her best life in London, but she had them people shooketh. Oh, emoji. And then you swipe and then you see content which displays what we all should be looking like, irrespective of the colors of our skin, to her ridiculous ass behavior. You see, The Shade Room, like most of these media outlets, don't give a shit about you. They're just here to collect the bag. They're just here to demonstrate a component of culture to appropriate the nastiest and the most degrading people amongst us for the dollar. All of those classy, sophisticated black women that I just talked about previously, why are you followed to channels like this? Because your complacency makes you just as guilty. Why do you continue to look at shit like this and share it with your friends? Look at how stupid Sukiana is in demonstrating herself like this. Oh, I would never act like this ever. Again, on to the next doom scroll up on Instagram. Money doesn't make everything acceptable, and your complacency is abhorrent. And let me also send another public service announcement for everyone out there that looks at content like this and are just as goddamn confused as what I am. Understand, within black people, there's a separation. What's that separation?
Tell them.
There's black people and there's niggas. She is a nigga, just like with white people. There's rednecks and there's white people. There's a clear delineation between the types of people, although it encompasses the total race. This is a nigga. This is not a black person. Black people separate women like this and men that act like this as well out completely in our minds. We do hope that you know this is not all of us. Just like the way that we know rednecks are not all of y'all as well. I remember like back in the 90s, late 90s, there was a comedian called Larry the Cable Guy who was like impersonating like a redneck, but for comedic purposes. He was using parody to demonstrate different redneck tropes and shit like that, but he did it in a funny way, and it wasn't his actual personality. He was playing a character. See, but that's in white culture. In black culture, niggas like this are at literally the highest point of media and entertainment.
It's unfortunate.
And that's the big goddamn difference, is that because we do not have control of our own media, what happens is that there's sellouts in our media that allow themselves to get appropriated to show exactly the incorrect way to live and to demonstrate themselves within a particular life, and to demonstrate it on Front Street, and they call them goddamn influencers. And they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, doing ridiculous ass shit like this, being a nigga. But of course, instead of the content being demonstrated as deplorable, oh, she's living her best life. This is simply embarrassing. And the more that you continue to support platforms that ride for this type of shit right here, the more that I know that the gender wars between black men and black women will never end. The forever blaming of elsewhere, the forever blaming of those that do not look like us for behavior like this has to goddamn stop. There is no one controlling her besides her. But the reason why she has so much clout in her status is because the platforms will propagate her post in lieu of propagating discussions just like this.
Man is spitting bars, so it was hard. I was trying to find a spot to you know what I'm saying, pause it. But I hope y'all heard all that. I really do. I really hope y'all heard all that. Now, I know I'm sitting here with, you know what I'm saying, a fucking Naruto headband on, and it's got a weed symbol on it. But that's because there are medical implications of cannabis that are actually good for everybody. And yes, I do promote that everybody indulge in, you know, their personal sins, but I also promote everything in moderation. So yes, indulge in shit, but everything in moderation. But that being said, that was nothing to do with that. That was just me clearing my own reasons for wearing this. But I know y'all heard me earlier typing up and trying to look for something. This is what I was looking for. The uncountable racial preferences revealed by online dating. Women responding to men. Highest response, black women to black men. Asian women, Latino women, white women responding to white men. Also remember how they are portrayed in the media. More successful, you know, saying the Wall Street movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, more romantic, things like that. Black men usually playing the thugs, the gangsters, the drug dealers, the, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of movies, not like all movies, but most movies. But also, of course, within the music industry. Fucking Ice Spice doing bullshit, talking about Munch or whatever. And like dancing with, I think she even in one of her music videos, like I saw it on someone else's YouTube clip about talking about like bullshit that's going on. Like she was like twerking on a child. What the fuck? And in my head, it's things like this that makes me ashamed for my race sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I do love being black, but it's things like this that reminds me of how far back we are, how far behind we are. Anyway, let's continue. Men responding to women. Asian men to Latino women. Black, Latino, and white men responding to Asian women. Nobody responding to black, and surprisingly, nobody responding to white. Lowest response rates. Okay? Asian, Latino, and white to black men. And again, how are we portrayed in the media? And then black women to white men. Lowest response rates. Again, remember, Asian, black, Latino, white, all male race, all races on the male side. Lowest response rate to black women. It's not just because of how they portray themselves or how they're portrayed in the media, but it's also shit like this and shit like this, bitch. Bro, I'm not MTR. I'm not good with words in this type of situation because my emotions more get to me, and I'm just disappointed. I am at a loss for words when it comes to relationships, to keeping someone. Black female influence will get you the least response when trying to stay with someone. Now, if you just trying to if you just a squirrel trying to get a nut, you might, you know what I'm saying, easy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll fucks with him. Get a quick nut and bounce out. But as far as relationships go, bruh.
Kiki Palmer. I was actually having a discussion with a young brother like randomly yesterday, walking around, and he was like, man, you good? Like, I know you've been going through a lot recently. I said, yeah, man, I might be going through a lot more in a little bit because I just released this Kiki Palmer video, you know, talking about the way that she's been treating her baby father publicly and denouncing him, and then kind of displaying herself openly and influencing others around her that relationships don't matter, family don't matter, fathers don't matter, and everything above. What he then reiterated back to me is why I felt so strongly when I saw this particular clip. Because see, I can have dissension towards Sukihana, but at the end of the day, I know to a degree of where that abyss level thinking from Sukihana comes from, which is directly from the hood, and being a product of your own environment represents why she acts like a pit bull right now. But Kiki, your life has been publicized. We've seen you win for how many years now? Since you were this big. We've seen the Nickelodeon shows, we've seen the movies, we saw your ascension, and we supported you. That's why black men are so hurt when we see what you've become, because within our own lives, we've seen the transition of women in general, where they've allowed the impact of feminism and maybe like a couple of hurtful relationships within their life to impact their minds so much, where they clearly say to everyone around them that they don't need no man, or in your words, I don't need no ninja, because you already got the bag. And your young 30-ish years on this planet do understand that it's not all about the bag. It's not all about the money. What you'll soon find out is that the relationship that you've chose to disrespect in front of millions of people, utilizing Usher as a pawn to be able to do that, will be one of the greatest falls from grace, or the
I don't mean to stop him. His, you know, he's spitting bars right now. But the relationship that he's talking about, that she is or was, maybe was by now, I'm not sure. But she was in a relationship with another man. She went to an Usher concert in a skimpy ass revealing dress, completely disrespecting her man. Danced on an Usher while he sung to her, and she sung some of his bars to her or to him. And when her man went on Instagram and said, "It's the outfit for me though, you a mom now," he got attacked. And then he says something along the lines of, I can't remember correctly, that we live in a world where men are disrespected for just having standards, something like that, or for their outlook on standards, or something like that, or something like that. And he got attacked again to the point where he had to delete his Instagram. And then she continued to post on Instagram more images of her revealing outfit that basically showed everything that she had to keep secret. That's what he's talking about. Like, she completely disrespected that relationship, talking about, I don't need no man, and then, you know what I'm saying? And black women wonder why they are the least sought after in relationships. Men responding to women, lowest response rates. Black women, lowest response rates when it comes to men responding to women.
The greatest regrets that you're ever going to have within your life. You have a boy. What is your son going to think when he grows up and he watches the way that you've displayed yourself in front of millions of people at the expense of his father? Do you think that he's going to grow up and treat women with the type of respect that you require of your baby's father? Or do you think that he's going to look at you as his mother in watching how you treated him and say to himself, they ain't shit anyway. Look the way my mother treated my father. And just like I said in my previous video, thus the cycle of damnation continues.
In the
you should
black
be sick
community.
to your damn stomach with how you chose to embarrass that man. You should be going back on your hands and knees and asking for forgiveness, showing off to the world what he values within the four walls of your home. Despicable. But again, let me bring in all of the black women that would never do no goddamn shit like this and understands exactly what it is that I'm talking about, because you women understand that at the end of the day, all men that we got is our respect. And if you mess with our respect, if you do things that we deem as disrespectful to us, then you will lose us completely.
Facts.
And forever. But see,
Facts.
real women understand that. Real women uphold a man's respect publicly as well as privately to the utmost of their ability, because they understand how important that it is for us. Now, the last bit of content that I wanted to go over here today was from this.
Might have to go to Africa and get, you know what I'm saying? Might have to get your passport, become a passport bro, go to Africa and get you a real black woman.
YouTuber called Sassy Trucker, and I recently just covered her story in Dubai, how she got locked up. And the news story had her mother talking about, well, she just went to go get her keys or some shit out of her car, and then the guy had an attitude, and then they locked her up for yelling back. All of this bullshit, all of these lies. This is her actual YouTube channel, and just a quick look just on the thumbnails. And understand this, I usually hate when people just go over the thumbnails and shit. I have not gone specifically into the content, but just looking at the thumbnails itself, what is it that you notice? Heavy degrees of sexuality used throughout her content. And listen, truth be told, show me a woman on social media that demonstrates herself sexually like this, and I will show you a woman with either daddy issues or some type of mental health issues that she's currently struggling through.
She's just a passing thought.
She's
That's what it looks
holding
like.
titties. Ma'am, where is the top of your
You're
shirt
gonna forget
right
about
here?
her the
And the list goes
next moment.
on
You're
and
done with her.
on and on. And you often see this by women that are well endowed, which that she absolutely is. But one thing that I said in my previous video is that many women in Western culture and society today, as well as black women, live in a state of complete and utter delusion. You see, in America, where you are protected by men, and as well as protected by the simps that allow you to uphold your bad behavior, what you often find is that they'll go into other places in the world and have to answer for their abhorrent behavior. Recently, there was a clip of her acting abhorrently released onto the internet.
This part's gonna be
Pay
good.
attention. Shout out to this lovely young woman
I saw
right
this
here who
the
calls
other
a
video
spade
that he
a
did
damn
about
spade.
this.
At the Shade Room, here is the rodent locked up in Dubai. This isn't the first time that she's a violent drunk.
Did that dude piss
Her
himself?
mama knows exactly how her daughter behaves. Whatever they say she did it. Pay attention.
Don't think you're gonna talk
I'm gonna act like that.
and run off.
I'm gonna act like that.
Cause you're a bitch.
No.
Shout out to the decades of watching Love and Hip Hop proliferate with their fantastic views and numbers, and making the executives of Love and Hip Hop, which, by the way, don't look like the cast of Love and Hip Hop, millions and millions of dollars. Because what we're watching right here is Love and Hip Hop play out in live TV. Allegedly, this is the husband of one of her friends, and frankly, to treat the husband of one of your friends the way that she is treating this guy right here says a lot about her as a person. No respect, no sanctity, truly rodent behavior as detailed right here. Grown women should not be acting like this, but in the West, specifically amongst black people, we live in a place where if you have anything to say about a black woman's behavior, they will hate you for it. They will call you gay. They'll say, ain't your mama black? And they'll call you corny. They'll utilize every shame tactic and every insult tactic in order to not take accountability for their actions. But see, when they take their ratchet behavior abroad, they are met by a system of rules and laws that do not tolerate that BS. It's quite simple. When you're in other people's land, show them respect. But why is it that we're so afraid to ask for our own levels of respect right here?
Good question. Good question. Like a lot of people in our community don't even respect each other for themselves. And about that whole comment about ain't your mama black? Yeah, she black, but she ain't ratchet. You know what I'm saying? My mama raised me right. My daddy raised me right. Both of them in the military. Both of them were strict. Oh, my dad was strict. My mom was the softer side, but she made sure I was raised right. Made sure I would not seek after women like that, like her, or like Kiki Palmer.
23.5 black women that listen to this channel right here. Listen, I know a lot of this doesn't feel good in the way that I'm articulating myself, but I have to be direct. I have to be curt and straight to the point. If you're looking at the stats and the trajectory of your community in terms of marriage rates, divorce rates, employment rates, as well as inflation, you guys are in desperate and in dire need of change in leadership. I am not your enemy, but you make me and dudes like me feel like you're our enemy when we address these issues to you. I can't even tell you the amount of times where I've been involved in conversations. Actually, my boy just did this to me not too long ago, right? I was in Philly not too long ago. And what he likes to do is he likes to get in groups of black women and tell them what my channel is about.
Oh, shit.
And he just does it and he walks away smiling. He says that he's training me for the big leagues, you know what I'm saying? But every time I say something that has something to do about a negative stat or a perception that is given, and it is met with all of this dissension, you guys have to start getting less sensitive and increase your ability to remove the emotions and look at the things that we are saying. Because just as I said previously, if you are unable to fix these things, you're doing more harm than good. If you had a child that ate ice cream every damn night, and there's a coalition of ice cream makers that are just like, no, he can eat whatever he wants. Let him just fuck the daily weight limit. Calories, what is that? That scientific mumbo jumbo, fuck numbers, statistics. Get that shit up out of here. Let him do what he wants. If you don't fix that shit early on, you're doing more harm than good to that child. Obesity, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, because he's eating a tub of ice cream every night. What are things that you are consuming on that is analogous to that tub of ice cream? And if you're rejecting good information to help you be better, it's going to do more harm than good. Questions, comments, concerns? God already know.
Man, this dude be spitting bars all day, for real. I hope y'all actually listening to what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I'm constantly wondering how we can fix our community, the black community, especially the issue that we see with how we are portrayed in the media for the most part. And I keep running into walls when it comes to answers. It's sad, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know we're in certain situations. A lot of us are growing up in certain situations that we didn't ask for. But that's like starting out the game in hard mode. You feel me? Not just hard mode, but very hard mode. It's like starting out the game with everything against you. And so they have no choice but to adapt. But their adaptation and like the outside sources and the what's fed to them make it more difficult for them to actually grow and to become outstanding young men and women who can beat the system that's set against them and rise to become something immaculate, something incredible, something devastating, something that will encourage others who grew up in the same position as them to become more than what society wants them to become, you know, which is just another NIGGA. Shout out to Big Crit because that's a song by him. And his song is like, I'm not just another NIGG. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. I hope you guys liked the video. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Let me know what you think about anything. You know, damn son. Anyway, I hope you, as always, link to the channel, link to the video will both be in the description below. So be sure to check him out, see what else he has in store for you. And yeah. While you're there, don't forget to do those 3 things I like to ask you to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. What, you thought I wasn't going to do the voice? Yeah. But anyway, thank you for watching. Yeah. As always, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace. Much love to you.